All right. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is For the Furtherance of the Gospel. This morning I was reading in the book of Colossians. I read the first and the second chapter. I was reading the first and the second chapter, and I forget what it was in there that I read that prompted me to go into this topic. But I know it was a spirit, but I'm trying to remember. There was something in here. Let me just check something real quick. Just bear with me 1 second. Just bear with me 1 second. Somehow I ended up in the book of Philippians. It was like I said, it was a spirit. I just trying to kind of remember, so I can give the edification on this lesson. But pretty much the title says it all, For the Furtherance of the Gospel. And pretty much, this truth, what we teach is supposed to be for the furtherance of the gospel. It's supposed to be for the building up and edifying of brothers, to bring them up on the level of teachers, and to keep teaching, that in the hopes that they can maintain their stableness, in the truth, And there was a precept that just came to mind. I'm trying to remember it so we could go to it. Okay, let's go here real quick to, let me just switch over. The book of 2 Timothy, I believe it is, the second chapter. And I'll start at 1. Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. So the reason why we receive this knowledge is not to hoard the knowledge up. It's not to take the knowledge and put it in a napkin. It's not to take the knowledge and bury it somewhere. It's not to take the knowledge and, say, hey, you see what I got all this knowledge. Meanwhile, you're not doing nothing with that knowledge. Or that's just the same as faith without works being dead. You can have all the faith in the world, but if you're not putting any effort or action into what you've learned, then it's of no avail. It cancels itself out, because eventually what the Lord's going to do is going to take that knowledge from you, and give it to somebody else that's going to go out there and work, and put his talents out to the work out there, so that other men can see it and benefit from it. Because that's what this is all about. This is not about looking good. It's not about, how I cut this person or how I cut that person. Because you got guys out there that's calling themselves Israelites, and you see the avatar, or how I cut the Jehovah Witness, or how I cut the 7-day Adventist, or how I cut, the Mormons, LOL, It's like to them, it's a fucking game. This truth is not a game, man. This truth is not a game. This truth is not a game. If you're in this thing for any other purpose than to be delivered, to teach his word, so you can be delivered, bounce. This truth is not a game. This is not some hip-hop beef battle. This is not some watch how I can do a 360 and dunk. Watch how I can flip up in the air, spin around and dunk, some goddamn dunking contest. This is some real live shit, man. This is some real live, a thing that's beneficial for you to be delivered, because some serious times are coming, man. Some serious destruction is coming to this world, you know, and the only way we're going to be protected is by holding on to this word, being faithful to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and teaching this word, man, and holding on to this word and teaching others out there to edify them, not to extort them, you know, not to make merchandise of them, you know, not to beguile them, you know, but to teach and edify and build up the men of the Lord out there that are to be teachers, to teach others also. Because what the Lord is doing is he's building up the government, the future government of the nation of Israel, beginning with Yahushai and then with the rest of the men, which would be considered the 144,000 in the scriptures. And those men will be the governing body of the kingdom of heaven over the nation of Israel and over all other nations. And shalom to the Akim on the common board, and if there happen to be any Akwath listening. So this is why it says, and these things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also, because that's the key. And what are you doing in essence when you're teaching somebody? You're building them. You're building them up. You know, don't Jake have that saying, come on, God, let's build. What do you think they're talking about? Come on, even though what they're teaching about is madness, but building is, I'm teaching you to build up your spirit, you know, so that you can in turn teach somebody else to build up their spirit, so on and so forth, just the same way we were taught. So let's get to the meat of it. Let's go to Philippians chapter 1 and 1. It says, Paul and Timotheus, the servant of Yahushai HaMashiach, to all the saints in Yahushai HaMashiach, which are at Philippi. All right. And you could look that up. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves correct, Philippi was around the area of Macedonia, you know, and over that region over there by Greece, Macedonia, in that area, with the bishops and deacons, because these were overseers that were over certain bodies of men that the Apostle Paul went around and taught. And what was happening was the same thing that the Apostle Paul was teaching those men and building them up to. You had those wicked Pharisees and Sadducees going around trying to tear it down. And in some cases, they were beguiling some of these simpletons, you know, because they weren't fully grounded and rooted. So this is why the Apostle Paul had to write these epistles, because these epistles basically were set up as corrections, you know, corrections to the body, because you had foreign entities that were coming around and distorting his word, you know, because this is why the Apostle Paul said that there be some that trouble you, you know. And this is why he had to put up curses. He had to send these letters to curse Jake out, because they wasn't paying attention to what was going on, and they were being allured by the flash, you know, and the mesmerizing way that these men spoke, because they spoke with such eloquent words. And this is why the Apostle Paul said that, you know, that matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Romans 16, because I can't remember the exact quote. But the point is right here. I mean, the 17th verse is key too, but the 18th verse says, for they that are such serve not our Lord Yahushai HaMashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. And that's what was going on. This is why the Apostle Paul had to do these things. And this is why, you know, great millstone, beginning with Elder Apostle Tar on down, you know, when we deal with situations, we're dealing with situations to build brothers up. You know, we go into prophecy, you know, we go into history, we go into many different things through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, but we also go into things that build brothers up. This is why the Elder Apostle Tar has a series now called Back to the Basics. You know, and Elder Apostle Gabar, you know, has his mailbags, you know, which are pretty much to feed and edify the elect, you know, and the brothers out there that's newly coming into the faith, and to continuously nourish and water the brothers out there that are already have their seed in the ground, and their branches and stuff are starting to grow now, you know, but their plant still needs watering, you know, until the fruits become ripened to where they can be eaten. So back in Philippians 1 and 2, grace be up unto you and peace from the power of our Father and from the Lord Yahushai HaMashiach. I thank my power upon every remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine for you all, making requests with joy for your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now. It's about the fellowship in the gospel. It's not about learning this thing to have a place you can go hang out and eat lamb and drink yayan or drink strong drink or kazak shata, you know, strong drink, you know, or beer or nothing like that. This is about being fellowshipping in the gospel, building with the gospel. And after that, you know, when the work is done, brothers want to get together, you know, have a little drink, you know, little food, you know, listen to a little music or whatever. That's fine too, you know. But the main thing is the fellowship in the gospel. All right. It says, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it unto the day of Yahushua HaMashiach. And this is the thing. You have a lot of men that come into this thing with false pretenses, with wanting fame and wanting to look good, you know, as they see other men. And then eventually after a while, what happens? They fizzle out because they never, well, first and foremost, they weren't part of the elect. And second of all, they didn't take the time to build their spirit up and to root themselves into this truth, which we can't root ourselves into this truth. The Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua does, but there are certain steps that we take to, you know, to ask the Lord to, you know, to keep us and guide us and protect us. You know, like the King David said, "Take not thy Holy Spirit away from me." That was a very humbling prayer that he said. You know, and he's the beloved of the Most High. It says, "Even as it is meet for me to think this of you all, because I have you in my heart, inasmuch as both in my bonds and in the defense of the confirmation of the gospel, ye all are partakers of my grace." And this is what's happening. You know, you have men, you know, like Elder Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Gabar, the rest of the apostles, elders, and, you know, men of great millstone that are out there confirming and defending this gospel. You know, just like they had men before them that confirmed the gospel. You know, and going back in time when Yahushua told the disciples, other men have labored and you have entered into their labors. You know, so there's a right and a wrong way to do this thing. There's some that are doing it for gain. There's some that are doing it deceitfully, but there's some that are doing it sincerely from the heart. Those are the ones that the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is looking for. For the Most High is my record, how greatly I long after you all in the bowels of Yahushua HaMashiach. And this I pray, that your love may abound. See, and this is the thing. Stagnant water does not abound. Yahushua said, "He that believeth on me," as the scripture has said, "out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water." So if out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water, the waters will not be stagnant. They will be constantly moving, you know. So if the lake or whatever body of water is stagnant, it's going to grow mildew, it's going to grow different things in it that's going to cause that water to go bad. Okay, and if that water goes bad, it's undrinkable. And if the water is undrinkable, you can't drink it yourself and you can't give it to anybody else to drink. Now, there will be some people out there that'll drink of that contaminated water, and guess what? They'll be contaminated right along with you. And this is why Yahushua said, "They be dumb, blind leaders of the blind. If the blind lead the blind, they shall both fall into the ditch." So let's go to this word abound. All right, the word for abound. Let's let it play.
Strong's G 4052. Perisuo. Perisuo.
Perisuo. It says to exceed a fixed number of measure, because this knowledge is what? Compared to a seed. Now, what do you do with a seed? Do you take the seed and just throw it away? Do you take the seed and put it in your pocket, or do you put it on a shelf in your home or under your bed and pray and hope that it'll grow? No, you take the seed, you go to fertile ground, you pull the fertile ground back, you plant the seed, you cover it up, you know, you make sure everything is done correctly and properly. Then you have to wait for what? For the rain to come down. And the rain, along with the nutrients in the soil, cause that seed to grow into whatever tree or flower or whatever you had planted. So this is the same thing with this knowledge. Let's go from there to the book of 1 Corinthians 3. But before we go there, we open up another tab and let's go to the book of Luke. Luke chapter 8. Luke chapter 8 verse 11. It says, "Now the parable is this: the seed is the word of the Most High." So this word is a seed. And what is the ground? Because you have to plant seed. So what is the ground you plant the seed in? Men's minds, Israelite men's minds, you know, of the elect. 1 Corinthians 3 and 5. Who then is Paul and who is Apollos, but ministers by whom ye believed, even as the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai gave to every man? I have planted what? The seed. What is the seed? The word of Yahweh Bashem Shai. I have planted, Apollos watered. So Apollos watered that seed. So one man plants, another man waters, but the Most High gave the increase. Let's go to the word increase, because we were dealing with the word abound. And the word increase, auxano, looks like
Strong's G 837. Auxano.
auxano, right? And it says to cause to grow, augment. And this is what I thought about when I saw auxano. Kind of reminded me of the word augment. To increase, become greater, to increase of plants, of infants, of a multitude of people, of inward Christian growth, or Hamashiachim growth. All right. And this is what it's about. It's about the growth, which is what? Edification, edifying, building, you know. And you have to start with the basic fundamental building blocks in order to be able to grow into a proper tree with proper fruit, you know. So now let's go back. It says, I have planted, Apollos watered, but the Most High gave the increase. So then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but the Most High that giveth the increase. Because at the end of the day, when we have done what we're supposed to do, what did Yahweh Shai say? Say that we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which was our duty to do, pretty much in so many words. So there's no room for pride. And these guys that are getting proud, you know the names of them. You know, it's because they don't understand the concept that to Yahweh Bashem Shai goes all the glory, even though they're saying that with their mouth, but their heart is far from that. Because you could tell by their actions, by the way they move, by the way they speak, you know, their demeanor, the way they stand, you know, it's evident. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. And this is why it says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. If the Lord gave you a little, work with that little, because that little will become a lot. If the Lord gave you a lot, then work a lot. But the whole thing is to continually increase and abound in this truth. For the what? For the furtherance of the gospel. Okay. Now let's go back, because we're going to come back to this Lord's will. 1 Corinthians 3. So let's go back here, and we looked up the word. What was this? This was Philippians 1 and 9, and we looked at the word abound. All right, and it says to exceed a fixed number of measure, to be left over and above a certain number of or measure, to be over, to remain. To remain. In other words, to have a surplus. That's what surplus means. It means to have excess, you know, have more, you know. To exist or be at hand in abundance, to be great abundant, a thing which comes in abundance or overflows unto one. And this is why the King David said this in the Psalm that everyone quotes, you know, and everybody knows by heart, but nobody understands what this Psalms is all about. Psalms 23:1, a Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And this is why, well, I'm not going to speak on that right now, you know, but if the Spirit allows, there's a scripture I have in here. I want to make, you know, if the Spirit allows, I'm going to say a few things on it. But this is the reason why you have certain groups that are not prospering. You know, they're prospering in the wrong areas. They're not prospering spiritually. They're prospering physically, carnally, but they're not prospering spiritually because they refuse to call upon the names of Yahweh Shai. Some of them sold out and they can't, you know, and some of them just stiff-hearted, you know, and hard-hearted. It says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. This is dealing with America. For thou art with me, thy rod, which is the truth, and thy staff, which is this truth, they comfort me. And this is why the scriptures are known as the Comforter. It says, thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. And this is why Esau is all pissed off right now, because they see this table being prepared. They see all the fruits on it, the spiritual fruits, and they know they're carnal, and they can't partake of it. So they're trying to destroy it, but they won't be able to. This is the point here. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. So going back here, the word abound, a thing which comes in abundance or overflows unto one. And this is this knowledge that's overflowing. And it has to continually grow like that so it could overflow in each man. This is why the video making is in hyperdrive right now. You know, it's hard to keep up with just the videos Elder Apostle Tahar puts out. Is hard to keep up. Elder Apostle Gabar, I don't get a chance to watch all the Elder Apostle Gabar's videos or the other elders apostles, you know, but I try to watch what I can when I can. It says something falls to the lot of one in large measure. See, and this is what we're striving for, you know, to have more, you know, of this knowledge, you know, to protect us, guide us, and also that we may be able to edify and build others. It says to redound unto, turn out abundantly for a thing. Let's look up this word redound. Redound. Contribute greatly to a person's credit or honor. So that's what it is, you know, so you can see the benefit. You know, this truth, you know, like Yahushua said, no man takes a candle and lights it and puts it under a bushel. You know, you ain't putting something like that under the bed. You want to put it somewhere where everybody can see the light. You know, it says to abound, overflow, and pretty much it goes into the same thing. So let's go back to Philippians 1:9. Let's read that again. And this I pray, that your love may abound yet more and more in knowledge and in all judgment, because these are important. So you have to have knowledge, wisdom, but you also have to have understanding. And with that understanding, you have to have judgment, you know, because there's certain decisions you're going to have to make, you know, as a leader, you know, and you're not always going to have somebody over you there to be able to guide you, you know. Now, if there's something that's too hard for you, of course, your brothers are a phone call away, you know, elders are a phone call away. But for the most part, you know, there's certain decisions that you should be able to make, you know, now that you've been in the truth for a certain amount of time. You know, it says that you may approve a shalom to the beloved Barak Gabar, and shalom to all the beloved brothers on the comment board. Shalom. It says that you may approve things that are excellent. And this is why we're building, you know, because we have to, in building and doing what we do, is we're approving things that are excellent, that you may be sincere and without offense to the day of Hamashiach Yahushai, being filled with the fruits of righteousness. Why? Because that seed is growing into fruits. And this is why Yahushai said, a bad tree can bring forth good fruits, and you shall know them by their fruits. You know, it says, which are by Yahushai unto the glory and praise of the Most High. So these things that we have, these fruits of righteousness that are growing from this seed that was planted into us, is all given to us of Yahushai to the glory of the Most High, because the Most High gave Yahushai a certain amount of men that he has kept from the beginning of the creation. It says, but I would ye should understand, brethren, that the things which happen unto me have fallen out rather unto the furtherance of the gospel. So when we tell you, brothers, about situations where we were surrounded by the cops in Stanford, you brothers seen the video, some of you, we were surrounded by cops out in New Haven. You know, we were arrested in Stanford when them cops surrounded us. We were no, I'm sorry, I believe they didn't arrest us. They gave us a tickets to come to court or something like that. I can't. If my memory serves me right, we got like some tickets or summons to come to court or something like that. We got arrested down in Connecticut, you know, during the time of 9/11 back in 2001, you know, and all of these things that we tell you, brothers, about the different councils that we've been through, different situations we found ourselves in, dealing with certain individuals or certain situations to where the Lord delivered us. We're telling you these things for the furtherance of the gospel, so that when these things come upon you, you know, you don't be all, you know, faint-hearted in your mind, because you have examples in the scriptures of things that happened to men of the Lord and were delivered, and you have physical ones, today, of things that we've been through and things that you brothers have been through, because you brothers have been through the same thing. You have your own experiences that you can share with brothers to build up their spirit. So this is the book. This is the word furtherance. Prokopa looks like prokope, progress, advancement, and it's about progress and it's about advancement in this truth, building the truth, not your pockets being lined by men's money because you call someone the pocket, because they got a lot of money and you have access to them like you have access to a ATM machine. It's about progress and advancement of the word. Okay, building brothers up, and the Lord will provide whatever it is that we need. When I say we, I'm talking about all the brothers that are out there teaching this word. All right. So it says, but I would, you should understand, brethren, that the things which happen unto me have fallen out rather unto the furtherance of the gospel, so that my bonds in Hamashiach Yahushai are manifest in all the palace and in all other places, and many of the brethren in the Lord, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. Because these things that happened to Paul, he got arrested, but he told him this because look what happened. Yeah, he got arrested. He went through his different things, he got beaten and all that. But at the end, the Lord delivered him from that. And he said, look, this is for you. I'm gonna take these L's for y'all, so that when it comes upon y'all don't be all, messed up, because it's for the furtherance of the gospel. All right. So now I'm gonna go to a few scriptures here. I'm gonna go first into the ones dealing with edification. So let's get rid of this tab. Let's go to here. I'm gonna leave Philippians 1 because Lord's will, we're gonna get back to that. But let's go into a few of these precepts. This is the book of Romans, chapter 14, and I'm gonna go straight to the point. Verse 19. It says, "Let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace." Because the peace is what? The main peace is between Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and us, and then amongst us. Because we should have that perfect unity of the brotherhood. Of course, we're gonna get on each other's nerves. Family, that's what family does. But for the most part, as far as the gospel is concerned, we're at peace. It says, "And things wherewith one may edify another." Now let's look up this word edify, which we've done it before. The word edify, oikodome, which sounds like a house, something house, because I believe oikos is house. Yep, household, home. And dome is housetop. Okay, so oikodome. The act of building up, metaphorically edifying, edification. The act of one who promotes another's growth in Hamashiachim, wisdom, piety, happiness, holiness. For those who don't understand, Hamashiachim is a way of saying Christian in the Hebrew. Ha is the, Mashiach is anointed, and Mashiachim is plural. The yum at the end makes it plural. All right, a building, an example, the thing built, edifice, and the word edifice in Spanish, edificio, is a building. All right, to build. All right, so now let's go back and let's read that again. So let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace, and things wherewith one may edify another. And this is the deal. It's not about trying to make yourself look good. Go out there, I confounded this Amalek. I confounded, the Jehovah Witness. I confounded those Mormons over there. Look how I did it. LOL, laugh my ass off, because you're serving your own belly, man. How about, see, this is to show you brothers out there that are following, the Mormons are following this, that they don't have the truth. How about giving the glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai? Not I did this and I did that. You got a lot of guys out there that are full of themselves, man. All right, let's go from there to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. And we got to, let's see. Let me see. All right, got a couple of verses here. This is the 23rd verse. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. Meaning all things are not. The word expedient means to put your foot forward or to put this thing forward. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. Let's look up that word expedient, and we'll go back to it. Excuse me. Expedient. Sum fero. Looks like sum fero.
Strong's G 4851. Sumfero.
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 It says to bear or bring together, to bear together or at the same time, to carry with others. So what do you do when you're carrying something? You're moving it from one place to the other. So expedient, X is out, and ped is foot, to put your foot out, you know, to move forward, to carry the gospel, to move it forward. And how do we do that? By constantly teaching and doing these lessons, to build up others, to collect or contribute in order to help, be profitable, be expedient, you know. And that's what the word expedient means, foot out, you know. And we're going to read that again. Let's see what we can get from the regular dictionary. See what it says. Expedient, of an action convenient and practical, although possibly improper or immoral. Well, that you could use that, but not in all cases. A means of attaining an end. See, and what are we here to do? A means of attaining an end, pushing His word until the Lord said, "Okay, that's enough. That's it." Especially one that is convenient but considered improper. That's this. You can use this in a wicked way, but